On Sunday, the New Orleans Saints looked done at halftime, down multiple scores, offense sputtering, and that's being kind because actually there was no offense at all, and facing a potential blowout loss. But in the second half, at least one player kind of flipped the script. Devaughn Vele, after receiving no targets in the first half, began to put on a clinic in the second half. Targeted 8 times, 8 catches, 0 drops, 93 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 catches that converted for first down. That's taking advantage of an opportunity and not missing any of them. So today in Saints Film Room, we're going to break down every single catch from Filet's breakout game and talk about why this might be the wide receiver two solution Saints desperately need to find. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. Filet's first target and catch of the day picks up a first down. It goes for 14 yards. This happens in the third quarter. We were a little late getting him involved in the offense, but once we did, he had kind of a breakout half. You can't even call it a breakout day because he didn't even have a target in the first half. So right here, we're working out the shotgun. He is in the slot left, even though he's lined up on the line of scrimmage, and Moreau's the wide receiver or the wide pass catcher who's off. Technically, Vele's in the slot. They're showing a likely too high look, but actually what they're doing is they're matching up with a man concept here. The outside, the corner, is going with Moreau. Looks like he's passing him off to the inside. But what he does is vacate the flat. The safety has got a lot of cushion on Vele. For once, Shuck had a pretty clean pocket, and so they're just throwing the ball into space. So he makes a good cut, finds the open space. That corner vacating out of the flat helped a lot. There's no doubt about it. But good pass and catch right here. And kind of an easy one, relatively, kind of kickstarted his day off, I guess, or his half off on the right foot. So we convert for 14, pick up a first down. Second catch on the day goes for another 14. He's in the slot on the right side, top of your screen, the right side of the formation, working out a shotgun. And initially, he's looking to cross. We have a lot of pass plays here, concepts just kind of short of the sticks. We've sent Mason Tipton past the sticks. This is on second down, so we don't necessarily need to pick up all the yardage here. Shuck's under tremendous pressure, steps up, slides right. So now we get the scramble drill going. And Vele recognizes where the space is going to be coming out of this. He knows his man's going to have to leave him and move up to help deal with Shuck on a possible scramble out of there for a run. The space is kind of that back corner from the 10-yard line to the numbers at the 10-yard line to the sideline. Now, the safety recognizes this too. He's getting over there also. So Shuck makes a really good throw on the run right here to what ultimately is a tight window because their secondary did a good job of realizing what was going on and get into coverage. And this was a sensational catch. Grab that thing right on the sideline. Lead your receiver to the sideline. He's the only one that can make the play. And he makes just one hell of a catch right here, able to get a knee down before the opposite knee or the second knee lands out of bounds, get a completion, pick up 14. Once again, we move the chains. And one more look, just a little better look here from the end zone camera. You can see how tight this is getting. Put a ball out there, and that defender's closing. Got to touch on him at least. So he's helping to push Vele out. But Vele's able to make that drag and make the catch. And the most important thing is keeping control of the ball when he slams into the ground like that. Because if the ball moves around, they're not gonna call it a catch. This is the kind of thing Vele was known for in Denver. A chain mover, 2 targets, 2 catches, 2 first downs. He doesn't really drop passes, and he can make tough and contested catches. And we're going to see some contested catches a little later on. Here we're backed up inside the 10, right around the 5-6 yard line. And this could be severe trouble, especially the way our offense was non-existent in the first half of this game. Now we're in the third quarter. It's starting to come alive a little bit. But this is a big play right here to get out of the hole. Now, Vele is at the top of the screen. split as the wide pass catcher, the wide receiver here. No pun. Quarterback's taking, or cornerback, excuse me, is taking an outside release. They're kind of sitting back in a zone. So he's just going to settle in on a cross and find a little space. Shuck, with the pocket falling apart around him, is able to step up and put a throw in here. And you can see here with Bradley Chubb and Shuck's face, he gets rid of the ball. Now, the ball comes in a little high, but he gets up there, high points the ball, both hands on it. Strong hands. It seems that when he gets both of them around on the ball, he's going to come down with it. In some kind of way, what I'd really like is able to kind of cover himself up a little bit, because there was a chance 21 could have laid the big shot on him right here, but isn't really able to do it. Vele, with some body control there that I thought was very impressive, kind of protects himself after having to go up there and make that catch. These are some of the things that I had seen looking at some of the clips from his time in Denver that's starting to show up right here in this game, at least, that this guy has some talent. We have to unlock it. We have to figure out ways to get him the ball. And I'm sticking to that until he proves us that he isn't that guy. I don't know if he's going to be a one receiver ever in his NFL career, but I feel like he's a very solid two, very solid chain mover. 3 targets, 3 catches, 3 first downs, 42 yards at this point. On the very next play, we're going to get Vele for 12 yards. So he's going to come up with 2 chain moving catches back to back to really get us out of this hole and get a drive able to have a chance to get started to get down the field. Snap of the ball, we're actually play action, run fake, possible RPO. The linebackers right off the ball are respecting the potential running play here. They've all kind of stepped up because we only have a 3 receiver route at this point. And now you only have 3 defenders really defending the pass. So this kind of works out. They're playing it not very tight right here. And Vele is going to sneak in. Again, the corner was playing on the outside, giving him inside position. He's going to sneak in on the cross. I'm not really sure if it was because of the throw or the route. He kind of fades back off the 30 a little bit towards those 2 defenders, but the ball was already in the air, so I think the throw may have led him there a little bit. But regardless, he's got to make a tough catch right here. And Shuck zipped the ball into him. He's going to take a little bit of a shot, and he still got the ball. Those first 4 plays, I felt like really, really indicated what Shuck and Vele could do together if they were to develop a little trust in each other, develop a little rapport, and be able to, if they're going to, because this was a man heavy scheme Miami ran on Sunday, and they were concentrating hard to take Olave out the game, assuming he was the only real target in the passing game. And in the second half, when Vele really started stepping up, it started opening the passing game up. So this trust between Shuck and Vele, if they can keep building on this, I would feel more and more confident could be the number 2 receiver here to pair with an Olave. 2 different types of receivers that can play off of each other, and 2 receivers that can really cause problems for defenses when they're both involved in the passing game. Put some stress on them about how they're going to run coverage. Now we're in the 4th quarter here. He's about to make another 12-yard catch. Vele is split wide, bottom of your screen on the offensive right. We've sent Tipton in motion down towards the bottom of the screen. Then he turned around, went back towards the top. He's going to be in the slot. This is a play, unlike a lot of the stuff we tried to run in the first half and even some of the stuff in the 3rd quarter. Thought it was a well-designed play. It was a very good play call, bringing it in. Miami, we kind of catch him in a zone look here. And all our offensive speed is going to be on the left side of our formation, the top of your screen. And Olave is on the outside at the top. So initially, on the drop, you have the safety, obviously, on that. He's looking at 2 burners. One trying to get to the outside. Corner's got Olave tied up pretty good. But Tipton coming out of the slot's got a free release. And the other safety, for a second, seems to want to cheat over that way, recognizing that he may have to help. And what that does is, on the in cut, from Vele. Once again, working on that outside position and cutting in. The middle linebacker realizes what's going on. The corner stepping up to try to close the space. Shuck realized he's got Vele once again opening on a cross right at the sticks for the first down. Threads a ball in there to him. He's a little behind, but again, Vele does a very good job of getting his body and his hands, especially, which are really, really good, in a position to snag the ball, be able to catch it. And again, that was kind of a setup for that cornerback closing in to lay a big shot on him, but he's able to make the catch and still kind of protect himself and prevent himself from getting lit up on a pass that, was gunned in there and a little behind him. He does everything he needs to do to pick up 12 yards. Once again, Shuck to Vele, building that rapport, hopefully building that trust, moves the chains for him. So in this one, Vele once again lined up on the outside, even though it's a tight split. Juwan Johnson is in the slot right off the tackle, off of Fuaga. Olave had been lined up in between him, but he's now motioning to the slot at the top of the screen on the offensive left. And they're showing a man defense right here. This one, Vele gets checked by the corner, kind of pushed inside in it. As you can see, they ends up banging heads basically with Juwan Johnson. There's nothing going on at the top of the screen. That both receivers are covered, both Olave and Tipton. And Shuck's going to be looking for the cross at this point, and it's just a little late. At that point, everybody's setting coverage. You've got linebackers who are facing the quarterback, and so they're seeing this develop. Not much of a chance for it to work, and no chance to play off that, getting the ball right behind that corner that's turning the run with Olave. So that check at the line of scrimmage by the corner kind of disrupted that, caused the collision, threw the timing off. You end up gaining 4 right here, so it's not a total loss. But in that situation, you kind of like to not see our outside receiver get bumped inside and bang into the slot as he's trying to release. Now, unfortunately, on his 7th catch, 8-yard gain on a quick slant, the only view available to me from the NFL is the end zone looks. You can't quite see Vele, but he is once again very similar to the play previously where he and Johnson bumped. They're kind of lined up in the same formation, although he's got a little wider split. But coming off the ball, he gets the inside look on the corner that you can't quite see, but it's perfect timing for this quick slant where it's right on him by Shuck. He's right in the area where you want to be in that seam between the corner and the linebacker, short of the safety, to make a catch. And then once again, 2-0 with a chance to light him up. And he just seems to be able to, for such a big target, make a catch, grab the ball, and then kind of make himself smaller in a way. Be able to still move forward so he's not getting lit up on the tackle, and he's even scratching an extra yard or so after the catch because of that. I can't stress enough, a guy like that opposite Olave is going to play off each other and be a tandem that if you're a defense, you just don't want to deal with. So here's the 8th target, the 8th catch, the 15-yard touchdown, 15 yards also being the longest of the day. Now, the reason why, because I wasn't even going to show the 4-yard cross from earlier, but when I looked at this play, very similar. He's got that tight split. He's the outside receiver. Johnson in the slot, right off Fuaga. So at the snap of the ball, once again, Vele's getting pushed to the inside a little bit, and they bump. Now, there may be a situation where in the future, when we revisit this, maybe the split needs to be a little wider, like it was on that quick slant catch. I don't really know, but this collision of these two is going to become a problem sooner or later. And I think it threw what Shuck was looking for right off. Now, he was looking that way. They had the bump. Everything's kind of messed up. He looks back to the left. Both Olave and Tipton are shut down. He's got nothing there. So he rolls right. And this is, again, the trust that I hope these two are developing. Because when you look at this, when he's throwing the ball, There's only one place this ball can go, back in line. And right now, Vele is basically covered. So he's trusting Vele is going to be able to get off this guy or win a contested catch, putting the ball up in space on the back line because there's right now the defender doesn't even know the ball's in the air. He's going to figure it out in a second. You're just saying, I'm giving you a throw. You've got to go up and get it for me. And if you're the receiver, you're saying, hey, give me a throw so I can go up and get it for you. And there it is. And now the corner is kind of out of position to do anything. The ball is up. So even if that corner had decided to try to jump instead of turning and trying to get back to Vele, pretty sure that ball still would have been over him, still sitting in this situation where Vele can go up, high point a ball, make a great catch, and get his body in position to drop both feet down, complete the catch. No bobble when he hits the ground again. This is another one where he's hitting the ground pretty hard out of bounds. That ball moves. They're going to call it incomplete. He locks the whole thing down. Touchdown, Saints. So we'll have to go to the end zone view. I was trying to get a little tighter view, but with no broadcast view, this is as close as I'm going to be able to get it. And this is the point where Shuck's rolling, sees where the opportunity's at. So now you can really see what Shuck's looking at going, that back end line has got an area for him to go up and make a catch. And right here, I don't think it was a push off, but he used his arm to create a little space on that corner. Corner's not able to jump. And again, I think even if he jumped, he still doesn't get anywhere close to this ball. Can't get back there fast enough to affect the play. Vele's high points it. He's got it secure in his hands. He's getting body parts down into the end zone to make sure that it's not out of bounds. And more importantly, that body control, he's protecting himself and the ball to make sure that ball doesn't move even a half inch where they're going to take this touchdown off the board. Again, Vele showing where his ability is and where he can contribute to this team. And again, need to keep him involved in the offense to give that perfect kind of counterbalance as a bigger, more physical, more contested catch receiver than Olave. Counterbalance both of them, have a better passing attack as a result of two receivers that different skill sets that can play off each other and give, once again, defenses real problems in trying to cover. So as much as that Miami game was definitely a disaster in the first half, and while not pretty in the second half, at least it was better. And we once again managed to climb back in and give ourselves a chance to win a game that looked hopeless. But we'll break down on Wednesday more about what actually went on in the game. But I wanted to do film room first today or first this week, because it's kind of exciting to see a young player. And look, a little self interest here. I've been banging Vele's drum for a while now, kind of seeing some signs of it coming to fruition. Kind of these are the things I think right now as the season winds down, try to find a little excitement in is, have we finally been able to develop a wide receiver duo? Lave role in the one spot. He's explosive, that game breaking speed downfield, the ability to work towards the outside, do a lot of things there, even on crosses, slants. And because of his speed and his ability to go make catches downfield, puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And you add in finally someone like Vele, who in this game at least gives you that bigger guy that can move the chains, make some tough catches. It feels like vice grips for hands. And once he wraps them around the ball, it's just not going anywhere. It's his. He's going to protect it. And good things are going to come from the Saints, or for the Saints, from when he can get involved in the offense. When you look at the numbers that he did, the catches that he made, and some of the big plays that, look, if he doesn't make them, second half is going to look an awful lot like the first half. So As I said in the breakdown while we were breaking down the 8 plays in film room, the Saints have the possibility of putting two receivers out there with obviously different skill sets like we just talked about, but that can complement each other. And that combination, regardless of who's actually the one or the two, that combination can put a lot of stress on the defense's coverage ability. The more stress you can put on that defense, especially in the back end, better you can get that offense moving. So, look, the question is, can Vele build on this? He has to. It's a lot of the same questions we were asking when Tyler Shuck had the really good game against Carolina. Since then, while it hasn't been horrible, it's not the games we were hoping that would launch him into the confidence realm where we would have a lot of confidence going. We found our quarterback, and Vele, I think, has put himself in the same position. You know, this is really a one game flash. It, I hate to make it sound like this, but it doesn't do anybody any good. But if it's something that can build on, and that we can start seeing more and more of that through the remainder of the season, going into next year, going into the draft, going into wherever you want to talk free agency about which our wide receiving core look like. Even if you bring in a receiver who's better than either one of them, doesn't really matter, because if you can get Vele to repeat this performance and really establish himself as that guy, like, we have the complementary receivers. So if we bring in somebody better, fantastic. If we bring in more players to complement what we already have, that's good too. But the key is improving that you found those two. We've got the guy that's the explosive playmaker. Now we've got the chain mover, red zone target, contested catch guy. Keep building the receiving core around them. So, let me know what you think. Drop them down in the comments. You think that Vele could be on the way of solving that second receiver issue, and in a complimentary fashion with the stuff we really needed um, to add to our wide receiving core. First time here, if you enjoyed the film room breakdown, go ahead, hit the like, share, subscribe. Let's keep feeding that algorithm. And we will do film room once a week now for the remainder of the season. It's going to be a tough stretch ahead. We'll go into a little more detail on Wednesday, but once again, another team started exposing some of the real problems that we have going on with the Saints, and we're just in a position at this point in the year. There's just not a whole lot you can do about it to fix it, or change the personnel you have in some cases. But this is all stuff that we're gonna have to build on in the offseason, and that'll eventually be the focus after we finish this season. But until then, I think it's important we keep trying to find some of those little diamonds in the roughs, or potential developmental guys, or hopefully in the case of Vele, that this started the path to he's no longer developmental. This is what he is. He's shown that he can do it on the field on a consistent basis. He's our guy. He's our number 2 or our number 3 in the possibility of where's he going to be sitting on the depth chart in 2026, and how can he make us a better team and help us win. So look forward to that for next week and our next video. And until I see you next time, I'm Tim. Peace out, and who dat.